Hey there, it's James McCarty, the sports director at Flag Family Media, and this is the Gate City Bank Frisco fan cam. We're with a former Bison, a defensive end, Stanley Jones. How are you doing today?
Good, man. Awesome being here. Glad we made the trip.
And this is something really that it just seems as though a lot of former players absolutely love. Of course, you were able to win a couple national championships, play, like you said right before, and you played with the Easton Stick. Right. What does it kind of mean to be able to come back and do those pregame practices, kind of the former players, the alum? That's something that a lot of guys seem to like. Why is that so important to you guys?
I mean, it's all about that Bison pride and about the brotherhood. And the coolest thing is coming back and seeing some of those guys that are older than us, some of the guys that are younger, maybe still playing, and just seeing where people are in life, whether you're playing or you're not playing. I mean, it's just fun to catch up with old buddies, and it's just a blast, man. Cool, very cool.
And so yeah, when you were here and you were able to play, you got to play with guys like whether it was Easton Stick or if it was Carson Wentz or just those different guys, and seeing some of those guys play in the NFL. Maybe even a guy like Kyle Emanuel was probably on his way out when you got there, and being able to see him when he goes and plays in the NFL. What is it kind of like knowing that you played with the guys that were all over the place from the NFL, maybe some Canadian football, and maybe even just guys that just turn into average everyday guys?
Right. Well, it's not even average everyday guys. I mean, after NDSU, whether it was football or not, a lot of guys were successful, and so it's cool to have those connections with good friends that have just done well in life. I mean, a lot of this is focused on football, which is awesome, right? But even after, like, we got a lot of guys really successful out there in different paths. So it's been fun just coming back and catching up with them.
And what does that bond mean to you being a Bison? Because clearly it's not just your 4 or 5 years of college. If you come back and you have to come to Frisco and they come back to Frisco, I mean, depending on where you're from, if you're from Minnesota, you're from Wisconsin, someplace like that, it's a long ways to get here to Texas. What does it mean, that brotherhood?
I mean, it's what's special, man. I mean, look at these guys. They're all giving me thumbs up because I haven't even said hi to them, man. You look out here, it's everybody saying hi to each other, guys that maybe weren't even the best of friends or guys that were best friends, man. Everybody comes together and hangs out, and it's all the same thing where there's a brotherhood behind it, and it's very, very special.
And what does it mean to you, or what I would say is, what's the biggest thing that you miss about this camaraderie? Maybe it's the brotherhood of it. Just what is that one thing that when you were on the field you wish you could do again maybe one more time?
It wasn't even necessarily on the field. I would say the off-field stuff mattered way more. Just having some roommates that were players and being able to hang out with them and create great relationships with them, and having upperclassmen and a couple of underclassmen that you just create good relationships with in the locker room. The locker room is the funnest part, man. I mean, the games are a blast. Obviously, they're a blast. But the weight room, grinding in the weight room, that stuff, you can't put a price, you can't put anything on that kind of stuff because it was just so special and fun. So I would say that kind of stuff outweighed everything else because you created some awesome relationships.
And the final question I have for you, so you look at some of these guys that are playing right now, like maybe a Spencer Ware, those type guys that are playing defensive end now, that are getting those reps. Do you kind of see them maybe almost modeling after you a little bit, or kind of seeing just the things that you went through and saying, hey, you know what, I know the struggle he went through. It's cool to see him overcome it and be such a successful player.
Right, whether it's injury or a personal struggle, man, it's cool to see these young cats, and it kind of boils down to the coach too. I mean, Buddha's done a great job with those defensive ends, and you can tell his style of coaching them has, I mean, it's the players are all, you can say we have the same technique maybe, but I mean, everybody brings their different spin to a certain thing. But man, it's very cool seeing those guys develop. That's been the coolest thing, is Bison pride right there. But you can see just how much a kid cares and how much the work they put, and it's just very, very cool.
Well, hey, Stanley, thank you for coming to your time today. It was nice to meet you. Enjoy the game tomorrow. It was absolutely, it's going to be a blast, I think. I'm James McCarty with AM 1100 The Flag. This was the Gate City Bank Frisco fan cam.
Go Bison.